Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and start talking about software package selection. So to specify which packages will be installed, select software selection at the installation summary screen. So the package groups are organized into base environments. These environments are predefined sets of packages with a specific purpose. So for example, the virtualization host environment contains a set of software packages needed for running virtual machines on the system. So guys, this is that screen where we saw server GUI, minimal installation, FTP server. So this is that screen, and on there you saw a bunch of different types, and we can click on those and they're all going to have predefined packages installed with it to optimize it for that role. So for each environment, there are additional packages available in the form of add-ons. Add-ons are presented in the right part of the screen, and the list of them is refreshed when a new environment is selected. So you can select multiple add-ons for your installation environment. So on that screen, if you remember, we saw on the right-hand side, there's a bunch of things that we could add to it, okay? So those are add-ons, additional functions and features we can add. Let's talk about graphic controllers. As Linux becomes more user-friendly and game developers add Linux support, the biggest question, outside of what physical card to buy, seems to be graphical driver and performance. So with varying levels of support for each platform, the performance of a graphics card will vary from OS to OS. Typically, Linux is favored in enterprise-level environments, guys, because they're not very graphically intensive. Okay, you don't need a very good graphics card or processing to handle it. We just need the command line interface. So, Linux isn't great for gaming, although, like we just discussed, it is becoming more popular and it's getting more support for that. So let's talk about the basic networking configuration. Before delving into the interface configuring files, let us first itemize the primary configuration files used in network configuration. Understanding the role these files play in setting up the network stack can be helpful when customizing a Red Hat Enterprise Linux system. The primary network configuration files are as follows. They're going to be stored in /etc/host, that's going to be the first one. And the main purpose of this file, make sure you write this down guys, the main purpose of this file is to resolve host names that cannot be resolved any other way. So in this file is where we store all the server names that we're connecting to. That way when we type in this name, the file can resolve it. So it can also be used to resolve host names on small networks with no DNS server. Regardless of the type of the network the computer is on, this file should contain a line specifying the IP address of the loopback device, which can be 127.0.0.1, as localhost.local domain. So for more information, refer to the host man page. So look up the man page on the host, okay? So in these files, you'll have your host name. You're going to have the IP address of it. You can set some more function or more configurations up as well. This is how our server connects to other servers across the network. So the next file is /etc/resolve.conf. So this file specifies the IP addresses of DNS servers and the search domain. Unless configured to do otherwise, the network initialization script populates this file. For more information about this file, refer to the man page for resolve.conf. Okay. Next, we have /etc/sysconfig/network. This file contains specific routing and host information for all network interfaces. /etc/config/network-scripts/ifconfig, so ifcfg dash, and then the interface name is where you'll actually see the interfaces. So you're going to see a lot of files underneath this file or this directory here, and they're all going to end with a different ifconfig interface name. These are all different interfaces we have for the different switches and routers that we have set up, okay? For each network interface, there's a corresponding interface configuration script. So each one has its own script inside of it. Each of these files provide information specific to a particular network interface, okay? So guys, a network interface, if you look on your laptop or your computer, where you plug in your little Ethernet cord, that's the interface, okay? So this is saying that on our server, you know, we can have tons of different of these little plugs set up, and they all have their own different scripts and settings. So in summary, guys, we went over planning hardware and software considerations, site planning, installation methods and types, installation classes, partitions and logical volume manager, also known as LVM, file system overview, swap partition considerations and other partition considerations, the Linux bootloader, which is known as Grub, software package selection, adding and configuring peripherals, which are printers and mouse and keyboard and things like that, printers and graphic controllers, basic networking configuration, and booting to recovery mode. In our next session, we're going to go over boot sequence, the systemd daemon, the systemd daemon, that's pronounced as daemon, the systemctl command, targets versus run levels, modifying a target, service unit scripts, changing system states, booting into rescue mode again, and shutdown commands. Guys, if you need extra help, please follow these links to go through our weekly and monthly plans available for private tutoring sessions for the system admin management. And then we can also have some private tutoring sessions set up for you to go over some Linux and Bash scripting. These are super helpful, guys. You're never going to learn better than having some one-on-one attention with someone and really hammering out some questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. As always, go to codingbootcamps.com for more courses, and I look forward to seeing you in our next session.